Talk about low-budget flights, no food or movies? I'm out of here. I like running better. Welcome back, YouTube viewers, to another video. And my final video of the year. And boy, what a final video it is for my first year on YouTube. I'm not covering Sonic the Hedgehog again. I'm not getting into DreamWorks again or something like that. I am covering Cars. Hey, covered a lot of animated movies. Finally time to look at the first Cars. So, I wanted to do this review for a while, but I just never got around to it. But I finally didn't have any other ideas, so I decided for my final video of the year, why not close off with a fun video like this? Today's topic: why Cars is actually really good. So I know this movie actually does have a fair bit of fans, but it's still always just gonna be written off as that weird movie with the talking cars. That makes no sense. Come on, guys. Talking cars don't make any sense. And to that I say, who cares if it doesn't make sense? That is the least thing about these movies. The least important thing. Look, something making sense in a story making sense is important. But when everything else about the story is good and other things, the things that happen make sense, that's what really counts. So yeah, Cars, really good movie. Time to review it for my final video of the year. Here is why Cars is actually really good. Okay, whoops. Yeah, first start off with the character analysis of Lightning McQueen. I really like Lightning's character arc in this movie. It's the old the hotshot rookie guy, huge ego, learns to value people over fame and glory and all that, except I think the difference between this and any other time you see that story is that this handles that kind of story with a lot of extra care. Has that Pixar touch to it that I really appreciate. Because yeah, that's how the movie starts. Lightning is in this big championship race. It's him, the rookie, versus the guy who always came in second place and the veteran. And it ends up being a tie. So Lightning has about a week or so, or maybe a little longer, to get to Los Angeles for the championship, a real championship. And he ends up getting stuck in Radiator Springs, a hillbilly town. And he learns his lesson about humility and accepting other people. And yeah, that's the plot of the movie. I think it's handled super well. One, and this doesn't have much to do with Lightning's, so it kind of has to do with Lightning's character, which is that the movie does do a really good job establishing that this guy is a huge jerk. So for us to buy him transforming into a nice person, it needs to spend its time on that. And while I normally don't like it when movies end up being almost 2 hours, I think this movie clocking in an hour 52 minutes, including credits, is actually a good thing because it really needed that time to fully flesh everything out. And it's been noted before that he takes a lot of punishment during the beginning of the second act, and it's pretty well deserved since he was such a huge jerk, being forced to fix the entire town road all by himself. But the thing is, eventually you might get sick of Lightning being humiliated and thinking, okay, he's learned his lesson. And just about the time when you think that would happen is when the other characters start being nicer to him. It's a good pacing, Also, Owen Wilson does a really good job playing him. There was something about his voice that sounds so familiar, and then I saw, oh wait, it's Owen Wilson? It's pretty funny. He's the guy from a Shanghai Noon, which is a very weird comparison. But yeah, I really like him in this movie. I like him about the whole trilogy, really. I like his design, too. The whole number 95 written on him with the paint job and the headlights and all that. The animation in this movie is superb, but we'll get to that. So, to really talk about Lightning, we have to talk about his relationship with the other characters, because that's the core of this movie. Like with Doc. Wow, what a really good character here. So, one thing I want to say, Doc is voiced by Paul Newman, who is a pretty legendary actor. So, I'll talk about this more when the day comes that I get around to reviewing Cars 3. Sorry, Cars 2. I actually like that movie, but I don't have an entire review for that. I just don't have enough to say for that anyway. But yeah, since Paul Newman is such a legendary actor, I think him playing this character is actually pretty genius. It may have been intentional. because Lightning thinks Doc is just the mean old leader of the town, but he finds out that Doc actually used to be the fabulous Hudson Hornet, the greatest racer of all time. And he just locked all his old newspapers, his old trophies away in a garage. Didn't want anyone to see them, never told anyone about them. And the Lightning stumbles upon them, thinking, "Wow, you gotta teach me, Doc. You're the fabulous Hudson Hornet. You won 3 Piston Cups. You did what in this cup?" I know that joke. I probably shouldn't laugh at that joke. I usually don't laugh at that kind of stuff. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. But anyway, I think what's nice, the mentor-mentee thing here is handled very well. But also, the thing I want to highlight about this movie. So all the good Pixar movies have some kind of deeper idea they're trying to tap into. Whether it be in Toy Story 2 about how, yeah, they grow up someday, it's got to enjoy the time we have, or Inside Out about it's okay to cry sometimes, it's okay to feel sad, it's important to feel sad, all those. But Cars is about how being famous kind of stinks. And it's not just that, oh, you don't really want to be famous, people are going to be following you everywhere. It's that being famous not will, but can be really awful. I mean, because Doc was this great, big, popular racer that everyone loved. But once he was in this crash, it was a huge deal. But once he came out of his crash, ripping and ready to go a few months later, everyone forgot about him. They moved on from him just like that. He was on the top of the world. But as soon as he's in a crash for a bit, the world is done with him. And it shows that, do you really want to do this when everyone can just turn their backs on you just like that? They'll forget about you. It's like you never even existed. Is that really worth it? When you could just live your life in a nice, simpler life where people actually do genuinely care about you and you have real friends and real relationships and not just like Lightning's asking in the beginning of the movie that you're gonna invite 20 friends to the race with you. Now which ones? Says, and his agent says, too many to name, huh? Well, just call me back later. Shows that Lightning doesn't actually have any real friends. People can always joke about the stories about, the Cars 2, being yourself, those simple stories about, it's important to have friends and all that, but I think that is a genuinely important lesson. And what helps is that this movie actually handles it in a way that doesn't feel super preachy, but... Okay, next time talk about Lightning and Sally. Nice story here. Not too much to say. I like how it's about Lightning thinking, whoa, why is she here? Because she's a fancy car. Thinking, what are you doing in a backwater town? She's thinking that, well, she says that she got she was lost once. She ended up in Radiator Springs. She just saw that the people here were so nice and the town could be so beautiful. That's how it used to be, but after big highways came in, people didn't need to pass by this town anymore. Town became a dump. No one shows up here anymore. And she's sad. She wants the town to be better, to be the way it used to be. And she's able to partially influence Lightning, how to be a better person, that actually care about people. And I think it's handled really well. I don't really have a ton to say about this. I just like it. Lightning and Mater, yeah. Obviously not the best Pixar duo, but a fun one nonetheless. I am one of the few people who finds Mater funny. He's not the funniest character ever. I don't know, I just find him entertaining. He's a generic hillbilly archetype, but I think that works pretty well here. Throughout all the movies, even in Cars 2, I really don't find Mater annoying. I don't know why, I just don't. I think he's funny. Oh yeah, anyway, so Mater, I think, is the first guy Lightning sees in this town when he's not being chased by a cop, that is. Because he's breaking speed limits or something, but yeah. And I like how initially Lightning is kind of put off by Mater. He's really put off by everyone in this town except for Sally and I guess Doc. But everyone he sees is just a weird hillbilly guy. Like there's a hippie druggie from the 60s. That is one of the characters. He's a hippie fan, and there's this part where he's just slowly watching a stoplight, and when one guy leans over to him and says, "The 60s weren't very good to you, were they?" That is some genuinely really clever humor that I like. I mean, what kid watching this back in 2006 would understand that? But I like how, Mater is one of the first guys Lightning is able to connect with, because despite, as I said before, Lightning is put off by everyone else. And Mater is the most extreme hillbilly-esque guy of them all. But he's the first one he's actually able to have fun with. He gets him to go a tractor tipping, instead of cow tipping it. Did I kind of question how that worked? Yeah, but like I said in the beginning of the video, the actual things that happen in the movie make sense, and they're well done. Whether or not the rules of the world make that much sense doesn't matter. Okay, quick tangent, but it's not like Toy Story 4 where it takes a world that already had established and clear set of world building rules and then completely butchered them. This already didn't have the best world rules to begin with, so it's fine. But yeah, I like that whole scene with Lightning and Mater going tractor tipping. It's pretty funny. I like the scene where Mater is able to call Lightning his friend. It's just really nice. And how Lightning's able to get him to ride on the Dinoco helicopter at the end. That's nice. Yeah, they're the whole trilogy. I just like their friendship. They're just two guys that just have fun together. I guess they're just buddies. It doesn't really need to be much more complicated than that. I do like the arc they get in Cars 2, though. Now I gotta talk about Chick Hicks, the main villain of the movie. Cha-chigga. This guy is great. He's not necessarily even a villain so much as he is just a jerk rival, but it's handled super well. For starters, I like the weird mustache grill thing he has. I think one thing this movie could have taken a little bit. Okay, yeah, the eyes and the cars do look better on the windshields, but if you look at a car in real life, it already looks like it has a face because of the headlights and all that. So having the grill in the front look like a mustache is actually a really clever detail. But anyway, yeah. Chick is exactly what Lightning would be at his worst. He's just a jerk who's after money and fame and women. That's it. He just wants all the glory. He's so simple, and that's what I like about him. Some people aren't complex. They're just huge jerks. And that's what I like that this movie values. On the one hand, it shows a jerk, learning to be a better person through some really nice character moments with some decent amount of nuance. And then his rival is just a huge jerk who wants such surface level personal instant gratification. That's it. That's the villain. Talk about the music before I get into the climax. Randy Newman returned for this film, and this is one of his weaker Pixar soundtracks, as in the soundtracks he did for Cars 1 and 3 aren't as memorable as, say, Toy Story or Monsters, Inc., but it's still way better than Toy Story 4, which is just 90% reusing his original music, and it's super poorly implemented, but that's not on him. I really love his soundtracks for these Pixar movies, and this is no exception. It may not be super memorable, but it does fit the tone very well. I do wish he got to make an original song for this. I mean, he did write one, Our Town, which is a good song, but out of all the Randy Newman songs from Pixar, it's the one I've listened to the least. I mean, except for I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4, but I have never listened to that outside the movie even once, and I'm never going to do that. Maybe just hear it once, I don't know, but yeah. He did a really good job with the soundtrack here. It has this unique style compared to his other films. Other ones are trying to get this more whimsical, kind of bop. I'm not really sure how to do. The Monsters Inc. theme, the do 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 do. That's his kind of style for the previous films. Here it's a lot different, and maybe it's just not immediately recognizable. I didn't even think it was Randy Newman, but it still has a nice bit to it. It's good. The climax of the film. So, Lightning is able to make it to Los Angeles for the big race, and a very well done scene about how he really likes being in Radiator Springs. He's happy to stay there. He'll get to the race, even if he's late. Just who cares? But then it turns out Doc called the news and the press to all show up and say, "Oh my gosh, it's Lightning McQueen. He's staying in this hillbilly town. We gotta get him to the race." And Lightning doesn't really want to leave because, yeah, he wants to get to the race, but he genuinely really likes Radiator Springs now, and he doesn't want to leave. And Sally is mad at Doc because she knows he's the one who called them here. But yeah, the race is on. Things are going. Because we get to the famous part where Chick really doesn't want to lose to some old man, so he knocks the king in the blue car out of the race, and he's free to catch up with Lightning and win the race. But here's the thing. Lightning has progressed, and he's realized that he could win the race, but okay, what? For an empty cup? For some surface level fame, money, which he already has tons of probably, women, just it's not worth it. He's grown as a person, so he's able to push. He goes back in the race, and he pushes the king to second place, as he says, I think the king should finish his last race. And he gets this all from some nice motivation from Doc, who shows up to be, as well as the other people from Radiator Springs, who show up to be his pit crew at the end. And Doc is understandably very proud of him, seeing the personal growth he made, as even though Chick ends up winning first place, he gets the trophy, he's saying, come on, where's the confetti? Bring on the girls, the money, man! And everyone just boos his face. He totally deserves it. Everyone can recognize that Lightning was the real hero of this. And Doc gives his words to Lightning, you got a lot of stuff, kid. Super, super great climax. In conclusion, Cars is a really good movie. I wouldn't call this a masterpiece. It's about an 8 out of 10, but unlike some other films I've watched this year, I can say that a lot of other animated films, to be exact, it's not a movie I'd give a perfect score because I didn't enjoy it to that extent, but it's not a movie I really have any problems with either. I mean, it's still definitely not the best movie of 2006. It's only fourth best, behind Flushed Away, then Over the Head, and then Dead Man's Chest, but I still really like Cars. This was definitely just another really solid Pixar movie in their golden age. Definitely one the studio should be proud of. I was very impressed by this because I genuinely wasn't sure if I was gonna watch this movie or not, but I ended up really liking it. I watched all three of them. I guess I could talk about the I love that bit in the credits where it's all the characters in a drive-in theater watching Cars-ified versions of previous Pixar films, and you've got Mac, voiced by John Ratzenberger, commenting on all the John Ratzenberger roles. It's really funny to me. A toy car, toy car story, a Bug's Life, because Buggy, a car, haha. Monster Trucks Inc. Yeah. Cars is really good. It's got some really nice thematic stuff, some solid humor, beautiful visuals. I mean, this is when the visuals for these Pixar movies really stepped up. And it's well paced. It's a nice movie that I really appreciate. If someone told me someone told me once that Cars is a beautiful movie, and you know what? I can totally see it. It's not the best Pixar movie, not even top 10, but I still really like it. Now, for those of you who are sticking around for the end because you follow my channel regularly, I just want to take a quick look back at my very first year on YouTube. So, I am super proud of all I've accomplished this year. I've been here for about 9 months. Started with about 29 subscribers, from YouTube comments, friends, stuff like that. There's some people who never post who still have a lot of subscribers, like Spammy the Hedgehog. Never see his comments, but I have almost 400. I am really proud of it. I didn't think I'd ever get that far, at least not in 1 year. Some of my videos have thousands of views. A lot of them have hundreds. I'm really proud of these. Not every video I've made is that good, especially some of my older work, which I do stand by probably every single video I've made, even if the video is not made well. I'm just really proud of how things turned out. This channel started as just an excuse to talk about Archie Sonic, because I really wanted that. That's what my first video is. Someday I hope to remake that, because I do stand by everything I said there, and it was delivered so poorly, and it wasn't really made with any kind of plan. I'd like to do that again. Who knows? If I have enough subscribers next year, so enough people will comment, I want to do a Q&A. I genuinely want to do that. I just wouldn't have enough people asking questions. I want to quickly also shout out the people who have followed me specifically in my comment section and stuff like that. Some of them even just in my community pages. Shards of Time, I haven't seen him in a while though. Good buddy. Bluebells Forever. She comments on almost everything I've ever made. This one guy whose profile picture is what, Dr. Stone or something? Shout out to him too. what's his name? Ash's Geek. Yeah, those four commented a lot. There's one person who commented on both my DreamWorks rankings. Had a long comment section with that. Mariana Oliveira or something like that. Yeah, some people who genuinely seem to really like my videos, and I want to thank them specifically. Everyone who's watched multiple of my videos, even if you're only here for this one video, I'm very glad that you decided to watch this because my videos aren't super well made. They're not even edited, but I am still proud of each and every one of them, and I'm very happy that you guys all enjoyed them. What's gonna come next year? More of the same, but I like my style. I'm sure we're gonna get a new Sonic game. Racing Crossworlds, whatever that's gonna be. We're supposed to get the Sonic Heroes remake next year. You know, I'll probably have some more stuff to say about Archie Sonic. Maybe some other stuff too about reviewing some older games. Animated movies. We're getting Dogman and Elio and the Bad Guys too. What else? Might want to cover some Dragon Ball some more. I want to finally cover Ben 10, maybe Ninjago again, maybe TMNT again. There's a lot for me to do next year. And I'm so glad you guys all decided to watch. Stuck through these past 9 months. I'll say what I always do. Well, actually, I'll say something a little different. To all my loyal viewers, even if you just watched one of my videos, thank you for watching, and stay way past cool. See you next year.